There are exactly 3 net worth numbers that fundamentally change how money works in your life. Not income, not savings rate, net worth. And 90% of people never even hit the first one. Hello and welcome to Money Machined, the money rules nobody taught you in school. We break down how credit, investing, taxes, and debt actually work. With real numbers, zero hype. New videos daily. Here's what nobody tells you about building wealth. It's not linear. There are specific thresholds where the entire game changes, where compound interest shifts from your enemy to your ally, where work becomes optional instead of mandatory. And after analyzing thousands of financial journeys, the pattern is clear. 3 numbers, 3 thresholds, 3 completely different realities. The first threshold is $100,000. I know what you're thinking. That feels impossible when you're starting from zero. But here's why this number changes everything. At $100,000, your money starts making meaningful money. Not pocket change, real contributions to your net worth. Let me show you the math that most people never see. Below $100,000, almost all your wealth building comes from what you save, your contributions, your sacrifice. But watch what happens at this threshold. $100,000 at 7% returns generates $7,000 per year. That's $583 every single month, without you lifting a finger. But here's what really shifts: the psychological change. For the first time in your life, you're not just working for money. Money is working for you, even while you sleep. Studies show that people who cross the 100,000 threshold are 3 times more likely to reach 500,000 within the next decade. Not because they suddenly earn more, because the game has changed. Which brings us to threshold 2, $500,000. This is where something profound happens. You gain the power to weather any storm. At $500,000, your passive income reaches $35,000 per year. That's nearly $3,000 every month, enough to cover most people's basic living expenses. But it's not just about the income, it's about options. Lose your job? You have years of runway. Want to start a business? You can afford the risk. Need to care for family? You have the flexibility. This is what I call financial resilience. You're not rich, but you're also not vulnerable. No single event can destroy your financial life anymore. Here's something fascinating. People at this threshold report feeling less stressed about money than people earning twice their income but with lower net worth. It's not about what you make. It's about what you've built. Which brings us to the final threshold, $1 million. This isn't about bragging rights or status symbols. This is about complete financial independence. At $1 million invested, you're generating $70,000 per year in passive income. That's more than the median household income in America without working a single day. But here's the real shift at this level. Work becomes completely optional. Not I could retire if I live frugally, but genuine choice. Work because you want to, not because you have to. And something unexpected happens. Research shows that most people who reach this threshold keep working, but they work differently. They pursue passion projects. They mentor others. They build legacy. Now here's the part that changes how you think about all of this. The time it takes to go from 0 to 100,000. That's the longest journey. Everything accelerates after that. The average person takes 8 to 10 years to save their first 100,000. But from 100,000 to 500,000, often just 7 more years. And from 500,000 to 1 million, sometimes under 5. Why? Because at each threshold, compound interest becomes more powerful. Your money makes money, which makes money, which makes money. Einstein allegedly called it the 8th wonder of the world. He wasn't wrong. But here's what kills me. Most people give up before the first threshold. They save 20,000, maybe 30,000, don't see dramatic results, and assume it's not worth it. They quit right before the magic starts. So let me tell you exactly how to accelerate through that first threshold, because once you hit it, momentum takes over. First, understand this. Below 100,000, your savings rate matters more than your return rate. Obsessing over getting 8% instead of 7% when you have $20,000? That's $200 a year. Meaningless, but increasing your savings rate from 15 to 25%. On a $60,000 income, that's an extra $6,000 per year. That's real acceleration. Second, automate everything. Every dollar that hits your checking account is a dollar your brain thinks is available to spend. Set up automatic transfers the day after your paycheck hits. Make saving invisible. Third, and this is counterintuitive, don't get fancy with investments early on. A basic index fund returning 7% beats a complex strategy returning 8% if the complex strategy makes you hesitate or delay. Here's what I need you to understand. These aren't arbitrary numbers. They're inflection points where the mathematics of money fundamentally shifts, where your relationship with work changes, where fear transforms into freedom. Remember those 3 thresholds from the beginning. 100,000 where money starts working for you. 500,000 where you gain true resilience. 1 million where work becomes optional. Most people will tell you these numbers are impossible, that they're only for the lucky few. They're wrong. These thresholds are mathematical certainties for anyone willing to be consistent. Time plus discipline equals inevitability. Quick reminder, this is educational content, not financial advice. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Always do your own research and consider talking to a financial advisor before making investment decisions. If this opened your eyes to what's possible with your money, we decode the systems that keep most people broke every single day. The strategies the wealthy use that nobody explains in simple terms. See you in the next one.